Hi everyone, I'm Matt the Friendly Board Gamer and welcome to the playthrough. Today we are doing part 3 of the Valley of Bones, Legendary Kingdoms. If you've not seen my previous part 1 and part 2, then go back and have a look at them and you'll find out where we are up to with our characters. But in a nutshell, we have our 4 characters: Sar Jessica Dayne, Lord Tiquan, Tasha and Akihiro of Chalice. We have done various things. We have some a mission from the king to go and visit Manos. He's a holy person in Cursus. He gave us an iron scepter. And we also met the Everchild, and she will be at the Cold River Inn. And we've been to the salt mines. We also met some thieves, and in the last playthrough we did a mission with the thieves, and we helped ourselves to some valuable items from somebody's house, from a nice mansion, i.e. we stole them. And we are back at the market on page 75. So let's just jump back in and see what happens. So a bit of a recap on the market. Sotdad is a city of tumble down mud brick houses clustered into claustrophobic alleyways. Above these ragtag structures stands a half-collapsed palace, a minareted masterpiece that has been seen better days. Amidst the squalor there is wealth to be found, for Sotdad produces the major export of the valley, rock salt. Chiselled out of winding mines to the east of the city, the Great West Road runs through the heart of the city, once a paved highway, now a poorly maintained tumble of stones, which nonetheless allows wagons and carts to drag themselves above the desert sands. Where the road cuts through the city stand the marketplaces, inns, slave markets and other services to the city is famed for. A constant chatter of voices is heard at all times, for Sotdad never closes its places of business, even in the dead of night. So we're not at the marketplace, we are just in the main city, but we can go to the marketplace if we decide. So we have options to go to the inn, go to the marketplace, go to the slave market, visit the palace, head to the barracks, track down the local thieves guild, which is what we did last time. We can visit the temple of Cursus, visit the temple of Kalu, explore the city, head west along the road, head east along the road, or head south into the desert. Now I think we should start making some headways to go to the Cold River Inn in Lubenesh, I think it is. And we could potentially go to visit the Holy Purse in Cursus. And these places, we can have a look where these are on the map, if I can turn the pages. So we are currently, these are the Valley of the Bones here in Sotdad. Oh, where's the map gone? There's here we are, here's the map. So we're in Sotdad here, so this is Lutenesh we can go to visit the Everchild. We also have, where else could we go to? We've got places in Cursus. We could go, so we could go this little route here, go along here, go to Lutenesh, then work our way down here to eventually go to Cursus and see if we can find this Manos guy. So we need to head east out of Sotdad along the road and see if we can hopefully get to Lutenesh. So 75, let's see what happens. Head east along the road, turn to 177. So, page 177. So here we are. You're travelling on the Great West Road, the western branch. Is that the right one? Did we go to the right place? Did we go west or did we go east? I'm going to make a mistake there. Head east along the road, yes, okay. You're travelling on the Great West Road, the western branch of a magnificent highway made in the older times. The entire road is raised on a bank of earth some 20 feet high, and great sand dunes have piled up over the years on either side. It is busy with traffic and with flatulent dragging yaks hauling many tons of goods in massive wagons between the great cities of the valley. To the north, the stone walls act as a barrier between the consuming deserts of the south and the mysterious and powerful nations of Drake Hollow. So we can go west back to Sotdad, well that's where we just come from. We can go east to Lutenesh, turn to 614, we can go north to the salt mines, south to Withered Steps, or we can talk to the caravan drivers. should we have a little chat with the caravan drivers, see what they have to say, see if they got anything interesting? 781. They might have some things we can, some goods we can buy. Because last time we did end the last one selling some of our goods and getting a bit of money. So we do have a little bit of money we could spend. Oh, come on, 781. Here we go. Here we are, 781. If you're heading south to Cursus, make sure you don't carry anything too fancy, advises the caravaneer. There is a tax post on the highway just outside town. The priests place a tax on any item they consider to be a luxury. What if I don't want to pay the tax? You ask cautiously. Approach the city from the desert rather than the road, he shrugs, or go by sea. Cursus doesn't tax sea merchants. Few enough foreigners come to the city as it is. Turn back to 177. Okay, so that's some good bit of information there. So I am actually going to write some of that down on a spare piece of sheet of paper that I have here, just for some notes for me. So we have Cursus. Avoid taxes. We can go by sea or the desert. Yeah, that's pretty much everything he has to offer. Okay, so I'll write that down. That would be some notes for me for later on. We'll go back to 177 now. 177. Oh, it's worth talking to them. They're very nice, helpful chaps, and give us some interesting info. So we want to carry on east to Lutenesh, see if we can visit the Everchild. So we're going to turn to 614. 614. So here we are. You have come to the small town of Lutenesh, positioned on the crossroads that lie between three great cities of the valley. The Cold River runs near on one side of the town, flooding the nearby rice plains, which are tended by hundreds of workers in wide sun hats. The village itself is poorer than it should be, with tax agents from Chalice, Sogdad and Cursus routinely stripping it of wealth. Security is strong here, with locals armed with long spears and dragon yak hide armour standing in guard huts positioned along the road. So we can stop at the Cold River Inn, we can speak to the rice farmers, or we can leave Lutenesh. We need to go to the Salt River Inn at some point, but I'd like to speak to the rice farmers first. 185. So if we have a bronze locket, turn to 43. We do not. We have a handsome brooch and a reference book and a few weapons, but not a bronze locket. If you have the code A29, do we have the A29? We do not. Okay, doing well so far. And otherwise read on. You get into a conversation with an old man named Yanis about his adventurous wife, Alidale. Apparently Alidale was a great explorer of the valley in the times before the rise of the Iron King. She had heard of the Temple of the Unbroken, the birthplace of the Cursus religion, and wanted to explore the ruins. Sadly, she never returned. It has been 40 years since then, and Janos has never taken another wife. He asked for you to keep an eye out for a bronze locket if you should ever chance to venture into the temple yourself. It was a gift Janos brought his wife when they were courting, and he would like it back to remember her by. You assume him, you will keep your eyes peeled before moving on. Turn to 614. Okay, so again, I'm going to just jot this down. My memory is terrible, so best to write this down. I need a bronze locket, and this is for Janos in Lutenesh. And where did he lose it? Temple of the Unbroken. So if we ever get there, we need to keep an eye out for this locket. Okay, so there are some notes for me. I will keep them to the side. But now we go back to 614. So we should probably go to the Cold River Inn now, to 284. And let's see if we can find this Everchild. 284. Has a nice little diagram here as well. The inn looks like a lovely place. Some gentlemen here chatting and a group of people here potentially playing a game of some form. I don't know. And looks like some nice food here. So the Cold River Inn is a large building built on sticks to protect it from flooding. The rooms are separated by stretched fabrics of many different colours, and the tavern is a virtual maze of woven corridors, from which the low voices of residents and drinkers alike can be heard behind the frescoes and tapestries that separate you from them. Okay. If you have the code A6 or C17, turn to 562. We have the code A6. I think we must have got that when we met the Everchild, so we get to turn to page 562. I really like how the codes work in this adventure book. It's really good. Really simple to use, really simple to operate, but opens up some possibilities. So 562, if you have the code A7, which I do not, turn to 263. If you have the code A7, turn to 263. If not, turn to 750. Obviously missing something out on there, but we'll see what 750 tells us. So 750. You encounter Chi Long waiting by the inn's desk. He nods to you and takes you to the back of the inn, into a beautiful chamber of yellow silks and handsome blue tapestries. Perched cross-legged on a cushion is the Everchild, no longer a ragged waif, but a beautiful golden-haired girl with piercing blue eyes dressed in flowing robes of Chalice silk. And if you've not seen my first playthrough, the Everchild is someone who we met as a slave in the mines there, and she helped us escape. So go back and watch that one, and you can catch up on the story. My champions, she smiles warmly. I had hoped you would come. I presume that your presence here means that you're willing to assist me in my claims on the throne of Soledad. By now you will have seen, what have we seen? The Iron King's cruelty firsthand, and perhaps even encountered the savage zealotry of the true ruler of the valley, the Patriarch of Cursus. These vile men must be deposed if we are to have any hope of restoring justice and civilization to the valley. The Everchild indicates a map of the Valley of Bones that lies spread out in front of her. First things first, she says, historically the Everchild has always ruled from Soledad, so that is our first target. To take Soledad, we must defeat the army of the Iron King in battle. I've begun the process of raising my own army in secret from amongst the downtrodden and oppressed in his kingdom. Alas, I still have only half as many men as the king has. I must have more if I am to be successful. The cities of Chalice and even Lash Breath might be willing to lend us aid if they could be convinced. I would like you to speak with them on my behalf and ask them to send soldiers to aid my revolution. The Everchild clears her throat. Of course, I would not need as many troops in the forces of the Iron King were depleted, or if the forces of the Iron King were depleted. She clicks her fingers and Chi Long steps forward to present you with a small bottle. It's a vial of poison. So I need to write this down somewhere. It's a vial of poison, the pale yellow liquid promising death to any who drink it. Take it if you wish. Should we take the vial of poison? I think we probably should. Do you? Who should we give it to? Let's give it to Sar Jessica. Let's give it to Tasha, because she has some stealth that might come in useful. So we have our vial of poison. Okie dokie. The Bronze Guard are the elite force of the Iron King, wearing enchanted armour that makes them almost invulnerable in battle, explains the Everchild. In order to foster a sense of brotherhood, the Bronze Guard all live in a single barracks in the centre of Soledad. We've been there, haven't we? I think we went there either the last one or the one before. This leaves them vulnerable to accidents. If they were to be removed from the King's forces, I would need fewer reinforcements. Lastly, all attempts on the King's life have failed thanks to the attentions of his Golem bodyguard, Malranak the Death Engine, says the Everchild. We believe he acquired this monstrosity from the ruins of the palace. It has since acted as both his personal guard and a crude assassin of the Iron King's enemies. The villain will often be found wandering the streets on some bloody errand. If you can get him alone and end him, our victory would be all the more likely. The Ever-Child rises from her cushions. Come, she says, let me show you my soldiers. Gain the code A7 and turn to 360. So circle A7 on here and let's go to 360. Okay, so we've got some options there. We can potentially get rid of this Death Engine guy. Got some poison, I guess, for the king, or for the barracks. Sorry, to get rid of some of the soldiers. So we've got some options. You travel a few miles outside the village before coming to the Ever-Charged training grounds. Her soldiers are divided into two types. The guards of Lutenesh are easily the best, well provisioned and equipped with hide armour and long spears. They are disciplined and well trained. The other half of her army are less impressive peasants and freed slaves armed with crude weapons and only a few with shields. They are eager and evidently the morale is quite good. Still, you wouldn't want to use them in battle as anything except reserve troops. You can note the following soldiers in your army box. Make a note that these forces are currently in Lutenesh garrison. You cannot transfer troops from the Lutenesh barracks without permission from the Ever-Child because the Ever-Child does not yet own a port city. You also cannot transfer troops you might own in other books to the Lutenesh barracks. Okay, so where is our army? We have our army here. Oh, this is cool. We're starting to see some new stuff now. So we have the Lutenesh spears. Oops. Lutenesh. I'm going to have to write this on 2 lines. Strength of 3, morale of 3. Okay, this should probably be in the garrison bit there, but never mind. We have some faithful irregulars. They have strength of 1, but morale of 4. Okay, I might tidy that up a little bit at the end of this, but we have some armies there. Starting to bring them together now. Okay. As they say in Rice, from small seed, mighty trees grow, quotes the Ever-Child. Still, I am eager for more soldiers. I will even accept foreign mercenaries if you have access to them. However, Lash Breath and Chalice are your best bets in the short term. She cocks her head thoughtfully. I find that I trust you well, she says. I am happy to launch the attacks on Sotdad as soon as you think we have enough soldiers and the Iron King is suitably diminished in power. We shall only have one chance, so choose our moment well. At that, she kisses you on the cheeks and departs for her chambers at the Cold River Inn. Turn to 263. Okay, that's quite exciting. It's sort of leading us in a direction now. We're getting a bit of story going, which is good. So we are now in the Ever-Child's hideout in Lutenesh. A range of generals and captains of her armies swirl in great preparation for the forthcoming battle. We can take this opportunity to rest at the inn. Turn to 66. We can speak with the Ever-Child. Turn to 898. Order the attack on Sotdad to begin. Turn to 376. I'll leave Lutenesh. We're definitely not going to order the attack because we're not ready. Let's take a rest at 66. Do we need to rest? I think we're okay actually, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if anything else happens. But we're on full health, so. You spend several days in the handsomely appointed Cold River Inn. For every 5 silver coins you spend, each party member can recover 1 health point. Spellcasters can also spend silver here to recharge their spells, purchasing components in the nearby marketplace and going into meditation in the privacy of their rooms. When you're finished here, you can turn to the Ever-Child's hideout 263 or leave Lutenesh 614. So yes, so I think we are good for health, although Lord Tikon is low on health. He might want some health. What is his total health? Let's have a look. Where are you? Lord Tikon is a health of 6. So yeah, he's pretty low on health. So 5, we recover health. So if I spend 15, I'll get back to my 6. I'll cross that out. 6 minus 15. In fact, what I'm going to do here is health 6 out of 6. I'm going to write what my maximum health is because that could be useful going forward. Akihiro of Chalice, he is on 8 out of 8. Sar Jessica Dayne, she's on 7, 8 of 8. And Tasha is on 8, 8 of 8. So I could spend another 5 and get Sar Jessica Dayne up as well. Yeah, let's do that. We will spend 20 of our money. So we are at full health. So when we are finished, we can return. Let's go back to the Everchild's hideout, 263. So again, we can rest at the inn, which we don't need to do. We can either attack, which we're not going to do, but I'd like to speak to the Everchild at 898. See if she has anything else to say or anything else to offer. So 898. If you have the code A28, turn to 746. I'm pretty sure we don't have that one. You speak with the Everchild about your adventures, the young queen hanging on to every word as you describe the dangers you have faced. She thanks you for any aid you have given her so far, particularly if you have harmed the Iron King or raised new armies for her. If you have fallen on hard times and have no money or equipment, including anything in your vault, she will transfer a crude blade, fighting +0 to each party member and give you 100 silver coins. That's quite nice of her. Very jealous. If we do ever get to a point where we have no money, then we can head back here and hopefully she will help us. So I'll turn back to 263, and I think we are probably pretty much done with the Everchild for the moment. So yes, we can pretty much leave Lutenesh at 194. Go back to 194. Okay, so we've got some good stuff there. We've found our friend Janos in Lutenesh, who's after a bronze locket of his late wife, and we have got some armies. We've healed up a bit and we've got some poison to go and hopefully take out some of the king's armies in the barracks. So what else can we do? So we stroll away from Lutenesh, sun climbing the sky as you make your way back to the Great Road. We can go west to Saltdad, north to Salt Mines, east towards Chalice, south to the Withered Steeps, or south east along the road to Cursor. So we need to go to Cursor at some point because we have this quest for the Iron King. That might be a good thing to do to maybe gain his trust so we can then try and knock him off. I don't know, possibly. Seems a bit dangerous. We also mentioned, or the Everchild mentioned Chalice as well. So let's go. I think we should go to Chalice, 442. Let's see what opportunities are in Chalice. 442. Okay. So, you have come to the banks of a wide river that separates the city of Chalice from the rest of the valley. The cold river pours from the craggy mountain tops of the stone walls and bisects the desert like a sword blade. Spanning this river is an ancient bridge, built shortly after the demon lord Abraxas destroyed the Elder civilization. Originally built as an act of faith to restart society, its designers could not hold back the wave of savagery left in the demon's wake, as the fine cities of the Elders were brought to ruin. The bridge, however, still stands wide and strong. Dozens of heavy wagons ply its ancient length, and without it the city of Chalice will be entirely cut off. A fee of 40 silver coins is required to cross it, a steep price normally paid only by merchants. You notice that slimmer, flimsy bridges made of rope and wood also cross the river. Though few people seem willing to use them, there is no toll for their use. So, do we want to pay 40 silver coins and cross them, and cross the stone bridge? Turn to page 450, or cross the river using one of the rope bridges? Turn to 329. Well, we have a fair amount of money. I don't want to risk crossing this river using these rope bridges. I found that I feel that could be dangerous. So I'm going to pay these 40 silver coins and turn to 450. So I will just cross off another 40 silver coins. I think that's the safest option, just in case. I'd love to look at what 329 tells me, but I'm not going to do. I'm going to just carry on as we are. So I've paid my money, and crossing the bridge we paid our toll. So, Chalice is a city of tall, decorated towers cut from the mesas of rock that dot the landscape. Between the towers, high-topped houses with red roofs crammed together to produce neighbourhoods and boroughs, interspersed with painted temples decorated with bells and chimes. The nearby cold river floods the plains between the rocks to create the most fertile place in the valley. Huge rice fields are tended to by hundreds of farmers in pyramidal hats. Unlike some cities in the valley, there are no burly taskmasters savagely beating the workforce into submission. Instead, the obedient folk of Chalice labour willingly for their god king, who resides in the Tower of Oneness in the heart of the city. It is an orderly place, quiet and subdued compared with other cities, but also less savage and uncivilized. If Akihiro is in your party, which he is, I can visit his house by turning to 897. I can visit the marketplace, I can find an inn in the foreign quarter, I can attend the temple, I can go to the Tower of Oneness, explore the city, leave the city west over the bridge, I don't need to pay on this side, I can leave the city south along the cold river. Well, as Akihiro is in my party, I think it makes sense to go and visit his house. 897. Page 897. Here we go. So, if we have code A53, turn to 221, which we do not. It has been several years since you have been home, and you cannot help but feel some nerves. Your brother-in-law, Janu, the current head of the household, greets you curtly as you enter, but your sister and mother are more welcoming. "Akihiro!" cries your mother in joy, scarcely managing an obligatory bow before wrapping you in her arms. "You have come home at last." "Don't be silly, mother," chides Yuko, your sister. "He is still on his travels." "And shall stay on them," growls Janu. You bring your dishonour with you, Akihiro. I see you keep truck with foreigners now. Is your hatred of your homeland so complete?" Oh, he's a nice happy brother, isn't he? Eh? Hello, welcome back. Nice to see you. But no. "Is your rudeness?" snaps Yuko, gazing sharply at her husband. "Come, Akihiro, we shall speak outside." You cannot answer your brother-in-law for shame and allow yourself to be taken out of the house. You sit upon an old bench by the riverside, your sister sitting by you. He is right to chide me so, you admit. I should not have returned after my failure at the temple. "Not every man is suited to be a Kensai," says Yuko. "Why, even father and grandfather could not complete their training." "Yet before that, there was a sword saint in every generation of our family," you say. "How thin our blood has become that even 3 generations is not enough to shake off our weakness." "That you must marry Janu, a common farmer, because our name has fallen into such dishonour." Yuko shakes her head. "I married Janu because I love him, fool that I am. And this dishonour is only in your head, and in the heads of idiots. You're a fine man, Akihiro. Find your own destiny. Do not be shackled to the past." "That is to let the past beat me," you say, grinding your teeth. "No, I shall return to the temple. I shall complete my training. I shall return honour to our family's name. I swear it." You stand and then bow to your sister. "When you see me again, I shall be a different man." "Be safe," urges your sister as she watches you disappear across the rice paddies. Turn to 450. Oh, that was pleasant. But a little bit more info about Akihiro there. Back to 450. Okay, so what do we want to do here? We obviously we've been to Akihiro and seen his house. We can go to the marketplace. We can find an inn. We can attend a temple. We can go to the Tower of Oneness. I think we should probably go to the tower. We'll probably need some help to try and find some of these armies. So let's go to 411. Here we go. So, the Tower of Oneness is not the tallest structure in Chalice, but it is the grandest. Intricately carved from the living rock and decorated in flecked red and gold paint, the tower stands out amidst a sea of grand temples. The mercifully cool inside are open to all, but there are few visitors in this sacred place. The halls of the God King are closed off to most, and the libraries are only useful to those who can read, a rare skill in the Valley of Bones. An elderly sister in long orange robes asks how she can be assistance. We can visit the library, we can ask to see the God King, or we can make your apologies and leave. Shall we visit the library? 680. Let's go to 680. Here we go. So the Library of Chalice has a grand marble floor decorated in unusual arcane patterns. Around the walls, so high they're accessible only by ladders, are numerous scrolls and even a few books. Whilst this library cannot compete with the shelves in Animus Mast, it is still an impressive store of knowledge. If you have any spellcasts in your party, then notice that the marble floor is a gigantic teleportation circle. If you had the means, you could use this circle to transport your entire party to a different land. If you had the teleportation circle spell and wish to use it, turn to 235. I don't think we do have that spell, do we? Got Animal Speech, Ice Ball? No, we do not. Okay, but good to know that it's there though, in case we do get that in the future. If not, read on. There are many subjects you could research here. We could research the Mourdain ruins, the reign of the Everchild, Animus Mast, Longport Bay, politics of the Splintered Isles, St. Elias, or we can leave the library. Okay, let's go and look at these ruins. Let's see what we got here. There might be some interesting stuff here. A bit of background info that might help us. 577. The city of Mourdain was a coastal port on the southern end of the Valley of Bones. Although it was rebuilt after the dissolution of Abraxas, it fell prey to the infighting amongst the cities of the valley. About 400 years ago, it was entirely torn down when the cities of Cursus and Lashbreth joined forces against it. Before that, it was a relatively prosperous place, but the religious freedoms it granted its citizens were abhorrent to the clergy in Cursus. It was said to have a grand museum which stored all kinds of artefacts from ancient times, although it is doubtful that anything remains there now. Turn back to 680. Okay, not that useful. Reign of the Everchild 452. The Everchild was the immortal ruler of the valley before the dissolution of Abraxas. She ruled from the magnificent city of Saltad in a fantastic palace which was said to hold many wonders of the world. She was eternally young in appearance, although exactly how young is subject to debate. Some records put her only at 7 summers, others 12, a few even suggest 15 or 18. She possessed powerful magical abilities so mighty that she had need of very few soldiers, since her magic could annihilate armies and disperse crowds. Most stories present her as benevolent but single-minded ruler who would be inflexible in her judgment once she had made up her mind. Exactly how she died is unclear, but most tales assume that she was slain by Abraxas when the demon lord walked the valley. Well, we're not different, or do we? Let's hope he's actually the Everchild that we're helping here. So let's turn to Animus Mast 705. 705. Animus Mast is the name of both the College of Magic and the literal magical tower in Drake Hollow. It was built as part of the magical revival movement in that country some 250 summers ago. It's a long-running rivalry with Caesarea Tower, another magical institution located only a few miles away. Animus Mast is an elitist organisation accepting only proven mages into its fold. It is expensive to attend, but it's probably a superior college in terms of the learning facilities available. According to these scrolls, the most recent piece of research there is the rediscovery of golem construction. Golems are magical servants of stone and iron who built many of the monuments of the ancient world. Of course, these scrolls are 40 summers old, so who knows what the wizards of Animus Mast are working on now. To 680. Okay, let's try and get through these and get to some a little bit more interesting topics. Longport Bay 81. 81. Longport Bay is a county in the Kingdom of Royce. It is famed for its steelwork, good agricultural land, and the dreadful rivalry of its noble houses. The county is fiercely feudal, with commoners unable to travel freely without a lord's consent. It is also famous for its jousts and fairs, and in good years the locals can grow fat on the rich foodstuffs served at these frequent celebrations. According to the scroll, the country is currently ruled by House Bailey, who were once mere stewards of their rival's House Dayne. That house has been something of a fall, or has seen something of a fall in fortunes lately, and now stand in lower esteem than the Baileys. However, the scroll warns you that all sorts could have changed since the time it was written as the politics in Lungpot Bay is both bloody and unpredictable. Okay, back to 680. Politics of Splintered R, let's read 794. The Spirited Isle is a native to Hanson dark-skinned people who have lived on the island since both the written records of the ancients. Considered merely a stop-off by the people of the older civilization, it is now one of the most important trading zones in the world. It grows spices, sugars and exotic foods of all sorts, and as the kingdoms of Royce and Drake Hollow have recovered from the desolation, their desire for its luxuries have grown and grown. Both nations have attempted to colonise the land, but with only limited success. The people of Thalsia are not easily tamed, and quickly united under the authority of a suzerain. Once it became apparent, the foreigners wished to divest them of their lands. At first considered technology backwards, they have proven extremely adaptable and now build some of the finest ships in the world. They have set up centres of learning that rival the schools of Pendrilor. Further, they have proven skilled at playing the rival kingdoms against each other and have allowed themselves to become a haven for pirates, buccaneers and marauders to further reduce the control of the would-be colonisers. Turn back to 680. Okay, what else have we got to learn about? St. Elias 262, that is the last one. Okay, 262. St. Elias is considered the holiest man in the world, a spokesman for the celestial court who has lived on the world for 2,000 years. He is a silver elf, a fairy given human form, who rejected his fey heritage to study the majesty of the gods. He resides in a mighty tower called Tier Mundus, the last of the great towers of the Elder Time. All the rest were destroyed by Abraxas during the desolation. It is believed that he is personally responsible for the banishment of Abraxas into the centre of the earth at the climax of the desolation, and that he is therefore not merely a Viking of the gods, but also a powerful sorcerer in his own right. He still lives today and grants blessings to pilgrims. Sometimes he advises the world's mightiest rulers if they will hear his wisdom, but he has always remained neutral in all political affairs. Okay, so a bit of background info there about the Valley of the Bones and various places, but I think we're pretty much done there. We can go back to, we can leave the library to go to 450. But I still want to visit more things around here as well. So 450, we are here. I want to go back to the temple at 522. Let's see, I can't remember what else was there, but I want to just double check we've not missed anything. 522. Oh no, it wasn't at the temple, was we? Okay, well, we've gone to the temple now anyway. Let's see what's at the temple. The common temple of Chalice, the common temples of Chalice are dedicated to the strange meditative religion. They are open structures without walls, although load screens are used to separate the different orders of worshippers. You are surprised that no one here worships the God King, but merely pays reverence to his immortal insights into their faith. You cannot receive blessings here since there is no eternal God to bless you. Instead, all truth and beauty must be found from within through a process of long introspection. Clearly, only a native of this land could master such intricacies. If you have Akihiro in your party, turn to 856, which we do. Let's go to 856. 856, here we go. So if you have the code A53, 52, 51 or 50, I don't think we have any of them. Nope. We read on. So it's been many years since you set foot in the temple in Chalice. Last time you were here, you pledged your spirit to become a Kensai, a sword saint. However, just like your father and his father before him, your soul was found wanting, and you were cast out of the temple in disgrace. You were unable to achieve an enlightenment, a vital step to becoming a holy warrior. There is said to be a curse on your family that prevents the firstborn son in your line from achieving perfection. You see a gang of monks, recognizing you, move to block your approach to the temple. You feel shame rising in your throat and make ready to leave, when a familiar old man bustles his way between the young monks. So quick to leave us, Akihiro? Surely you've not travelled the world to merely shun your home. It is Honu, a wise old monk, and once a Kensai himself. I'm not welcome here, you say, eyeing the other monks. If you If you are ever to throw off your family's curse, you must be stronger than that, says Honu, making his way back to the steps to the temple. If you can reach me alone, I am ready to begin your training anew. If it is not important to you, then leave. You see the monks snarl, catching their fists, they seem unwilling to part. So we can fight our way past the monks, turn to 386, or we can depart. So let's go and fight some monks, hey? Let's go and do it. Let's see if we can get past, and let's see if we can go and speak to Honu. Hopefully we can remove this curse, our alleged curse. So let's go to 386. 386, hopefully not too hard monks. They've only got fists, haven't they? So, you inform your companions to stand aside. Gazing directly into the eyes of the opposing monks, you strip away your weapon belt and throw it to the side. And only with their fists you approach, the monks adopting fighting stances. Because you have no weapon for this fight, you cannot add any fighting bonuses our weapon can give you. However, because you're familiar with the unarmed combat style of the monks, you do not lose a point of fighting for having no weapon. That's good then. So we've got some monks, they've got an attack of 5, so they'll be rolling 5 dice, and they need 4s or more to hit. They've got a defense of 4 and a health of 8. Okay. So I'm going to get a little piece of paper here. Let's move this up. So we've got monks, attack of 5 with a 4 plus, defense of 4 plus, health of 8. And Akihiro, he has a fighting of 4, but we don't get any bonuses. Because you have no weapon, we can't add any fighting bonus the weapon can give you. Okay. That's good. Okay, but we do have some hide armour. I presume I could still use my armour. I guess there's nothing that says we can't. So, let's go for a fight. I'm just going to check the fighting rules. So when we have combat, we got when a fight happens, your entire party works together. We're working on our own. The party tries to choose a party member to go first. There's only Akihiro. We select an opponent from the list to attack. We've only got the monks, so we're going to fight them. We roll a number of dice equal to the party member's fighting score. So we have a fighting score of 4, so we're rolling 4 dice. To inflict damage, your dice rolls must equal or exceed the defense score of the opponent. For each die that does this, you inflict 1 point of health damage. So we are rolling 4 dice, and we need to hit 4s or more. So we have just got 1. We've got 4 and 3 3s, so they are on 7. The monks will attack us. They have 5 dice, and they hit us on 4s or more. 1, 2. So we've lost 2 health. So Akihiro is down to 6. I think we can still use our armour, because it doesn't say anything about not using our armour, so we still have armour saves. So if we're wearing armour, they can attempt to reduce the health damage taken in combat. Roll a number of dice to the party number's armour score. So armour is 1, so I can roll 1 dice. And I've got a 1. So yep. So yeah, I basically needed to roll. I'm going to hideous. So Jessica's been hit again. She rolls 3 dice and scores a 4, 5. Yep. So I needed to. If every 4, 5, or 6 you score your armor save, you can reduce the damage by 1. I rolled a 1, so I didn't save anything on my armor. So it's over to my turn now. 4 dice. Ooh, 2 6s and 2 5s. That's 4 damage to the monks. So they are down to 3. Okay, the monks are going to attack me. 5 dice. 4s or more. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 4. But I do get to make 1 saving throw for my armour. 4, 5, or 6. I prevent one of them, so I take 3 damage. So I am down to 3 out of 8 health. Akihiro's taken a bit of a beating here. So my turn to attack again. 4 dice. I need 4s or more. and I rolled 3 4s and a 5, taking out, gosh, that was close, the monks down to 0. So I have defeated the monks. Gosh, I wasn't sure if I'm going to do that then, but I've got 2 really good dice rolls in a row then, which is very good. So if I win, I can turn to page 9. So let's see what happens when we win. Let's page 9 right back at the beginning. So with a high kick, you send the final monk sprawling. The other monks in the temple lower their eyes and return to their duties, unwilling to block your progress further. You retrieve your weapon and march smartly into the temple. Honu is waiting for you, cross-legged on the floor. You join him in meditation for an hour or so, your companions venturing elsewhere in the city now they can see you as safe. It is rare for a supplicant to be granted the trials of perfection twice, but you're an unusual man, Akihiro. You must know that your father never returned from the trials, but I sense in you a steel he never had. Thank you, Honu, you say, bowing your head. There will be a little point in having you study at the temple. You are already skilled in your craft, shrugs Honu. Instead, I shall send you straight onto your tasks. 2 must be completed before you are deemed worthy. It is traditional to send an applicant to retrieve some trifling artifact as proof of dedication, a tedious matter, since the only item of true worth is enlightenment. Therefore, I bid you find me a silver idol. Find yourself, Akihiro, whilst you are at it. Where can I find a silver idol, you ask unsurely. I'm sure more than one exists, but a man of open mind and willing to embrace his destiny might find one in the caves of Uranu, suggests Honu. That place has tested and slain many a Kensai aspirant. Go wisely, Akihiro, I shall see you soon. Gain the code A50. Okay, so A50 is down here. I've got A50 now. You rise, bow, and go to rejoin your companion. So I'm just going to write this down here as well. Caves of Uranu. If I can write properly. I need a, what did I need? A silver idol. Silver idol. Akihiro. Enlightenment. Okay, that was fun. Beat up some monks. Got another little quest. On our way to gaining back our honour. We now turn back to 450. Okay, where are we? 450. Okay, so we have done a few bits there. We've gone to Marketplace, we found Inn, Temple. Oh, it was at the Tower of Oneness, wasn't we? That's where we were supposed to have gone when we got a bit sidetracked. Let's go back to 411. I think that's where we're supposed to be. Yeah, so it's not a tall structure. We've got an elder sister in long orange robes. Haken should be of assistance. We've been to the library. Let's ask to see the God King at 628. I'm not sure if he's going to see us, but let's ask anyway. Got to ask, haven't we? The sister plainly informed you that the God King is not available to be seen. The stern glare she fixes you suggests that it would not be easy to change her mind. If you have the code A20, which we do not have, if we have a beautiful letter, then we don't have. If you have the code A7, which we do, and do not have the code A28, which we don't, turn to 176. Okay, let's go to 176. Let's sort these out. Oh, come on, 176. We are emissaries sent by the Everchild, you say confidently. That's easy for me to say. She wishes to discuss an important matter with the God King. The Everchild died 1,000 summers ago, says the sister firmly. The God King does not deal with the emissaries of ghosts. This will take persuasion. We convince the sister as a team check. Skill and DC is a charisma 4+. Success required of a 5. So as a team check, we count up all of our charisma. We have 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12. So we've got 12 dice. And we need to get 4 5s or 6s, and we need 5 successes. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just all of my dice. all 12. I'm going to roll all these. We need to hit 4 or more, and we need 5 successes. Let's see what we can get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, I think that was a 4. But either way, we have managed to get 4 or more, 5 successes. If we succeed, turn to 7 or 9. Okay. The strength of your convictions is obvious, and you can see the firmness of the sister falter as you speak of the great hopes of the Everchild, that the Everchild is inspiring in the downtrodden Master Soldad. Perhaps I was too hasty, she concedes. It seems clear that this is something the God King should know about. Come with me, please. Turn to 638. 638. The sister escorts you into fabulous hall lined with Kensai warriors, the elite guards of the God King. The ruler himself comes gliding into the hallway, dressed in long silks, a middle-aged man with a perfectly neutral expression. He sits upon a pile of cushions and bids you to do the same. You would speak with me? He asks plainly, his black eyes inscrutable. You tell him about your mission from the Everchild and ask if you'll be willing to provide soldiers for her cause. He listens patiently to your request and does not interrupt until you have made your case. I remember the Everchild, of course, he says, his eyes taking a distant look. She was a fellow immortal, but always the best of us. Once 6 immortal kings sat upon the thrones of the Valley of Lilies, as it was called then. She ruled us with wisdom and patience. When Abraxas, the demon lord, rose from his pit, she led an army of warriors and immortals against him. I was the only king to deny her call, as I foresaw combat against the beast of death was impossible. I was sanctioned, but when the dust settled, it was she and her fellow kings who were dead, and her threat to end my rule came to nothing. Abraxas destroyed the valley, turning it into a high-life desert. I've missed her despite the harsh words of our final parting. The God King turns to you at last back in the present. Of course, that is assuming that the girl you represent really is the Everchild. Her return has been long predicted, but not by me. I will require proof before I risk the wrath of the Patriarch of Cursus and side with her. Perhaps we can arrange a meeting, you suggest. Unnecessary, said the God King. All I require of her is her writing, her calligraphy. You can tell from a person's hand whether they are honest or not. Tell her to write me a letter formally requesting my aid. If I find it well, she shall have the aid I can give her. The God King snaps his fingers, and Kensai warriors immediately move to escort you out. It appears your audience is at an end. Gain the code A28. A28. Okay, there we go. Turn back to 450. So we have to go and get a letter. I'm pretty sure we can do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call it a day there. So we're still in Chalice at 450. We've obviously been to Akihiro's house and seen what he and his family have to say. We have been to the temple, which was fun. We beat up some monks and got given a quest for Akihiro. We have been to the Tower of Oneness and we have to go and get a letter, formal letter from the Everchild to pass back on to the king. And we will look at doing some of that stuff in the next episode. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that. And that has been part 3 of the Valley of Legendary Kingdoms, the Valley of Bones. I will be continuing with these series, and there's been a bit of a break from part 2 to part 3, but hopefully I'll do them more regularly now. So please do watch the others, and if you like this one, hit the subscribe button, like the video, drop me a comment, tell me what I could have done differently, or what I should have done differently, or what you think I should go and do next. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a good day. And don't forget to check my social media content, which will be down here. I'm on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. You can also find my blog and my email address. So if you want to drop me an email, have a chat, find out more about this book, about how it all works, then please do so. And hope to catch you on the next video. Thank you very much. Bye bye.